All of the batteries we produce here at Graft are completely swappable and interchangeable between all of our vehicles. We have a 10-year pledge that we will commit to the same format of battery packs that allows you to swap between all of our vehicles for the next 10 years. This means you can buy a vehicle 10 years from now and use a used battery that you find on the market, or if you buy a vehicle today, you can upgrade to the newest battery and cell technology that may be available 10 years in the future. What this guarantees is that your vehicle doesn't become obsolete as the battery technology advances. Because of the investment we see in electric vehicles, we're seeing huge increases in the performance of batteries. And as a result, we want to make sure that our customers have access to the latest battery technology in the vehicles they've already purchased. We see far too many companies in the market who are producing vehicles that quickly become outdated in 1 or 2 years as they increase the battery capacity after just a short period. So we want to make sure that those new battery capacities or the longer riding range or driving distance is always available to our customers. The way we do this is we have a fixed format for our swap system. The cells that are inside our battery packs will change over time as we get newer and better cell technology. Here you can see some of the older cells that we used, which were pouch cells. We then moved to the 18650 size of batteries, and now we're using the 21700, the larger size of batteries. We're able to package all of these different formats in our battery swap system with the fixed interchange and interface. While many of the vehicles in our recreational vehicle marketplace offer exchangeable batteries, they're not a true swap system. Exchangeable batteries are designed to be exchanged on an infrequent basis and require tools and removing connectors. And one of the big things we see is most of the electrical connectors on the market are rated for just 50 connection and disconnection processes. In addition, with these exchangeable batteries, careful procedures need to be followed to make sure there's not sparking or arcing when the batteries is exchanged. What we've come up with is a true swappable battery system. Using our proprietary swap connector, we're able to do what's called a blind mate. As the customer inserts the battery into the vehicle, all of the electrical connections are made blindly. The customer doesn't have to make the electrical connections. And we utilize these Swiss-made contacts that are gold-plated and rated for over 5,000 swap cycles. Our batteries are retained with these aerospace-grade fasteners or quick-release fastener. They are anti-vibration and have locking teeth that prevent vibration but are very fast removal. And we include a torque tool with every vehicle to ensure that the user torques the battery properly. In addition, compared to many other battery pack makers, we do not use resistance or spot welding when we do our attachment of our cells. We utilize 100% laser welding as we assemble our battery packs. What that allows us to use pure copper for our interconnects instead of nickel. This means our battery packs have lower resistance, less heating, and higher efficiency. In addition, the laser welding process is by far the most repeatable and consistent welding process that you can use for battery packs. At Graft, we manufacture our battery management system in-house, which allows us to have the best control over the process and guarantees the highest quality in our battery management system. So what we're doing is we're monitoring each and every battery cell, and what we're doing is we want to make sure the batteries are in the right voltage range so that they're in a safe working condition. We also, most importantly, want to record and monitor the heat in the battery pack to make sure the cells are not overheating or getting close to an area where they would overheat or potentially even too cold. So this hardware and software combination is the key to ensuring a safe and long life battery pack. Our blind mate electrical connectors are located on the bottom of the battery pack and make contact just as you push the battery pack into the vehicle. At Graft, we feel it's critical that we manufacture our battery systems in-house, with the battery being one of the most expensive components in an electric vehicle, but also potentially presenting fire risk and safety dangers. We feel it's critically important for us to control every element that we can of the battery pack design and manufacturing process. Here you can see some of the components that would not be able to be made outside. Starting with our massive 6061 T6 aluminum heatsink. This structure manages the temperature of the battery pack, but also gives the battery pack tremendous impact resistant. We understand that these vehicles will be used and played with hard. Whether it's climbing mountain trails or on the beach, we expect the battery pack to see some impact. So these heat sinks on these batteries not only provide the thermal management for the cells, they're also a way to cushion or absorb blows. If the vehicle falls, if the motorcycle falls, for instance, on a rock, we can expect that these fins have been engineered in a way to bend. If the fins bend, that absorbs the energy and protects the battery inside from being impacted. It's also an indicator to the customer on how badly the battery pack may be damaged. As long as the fins are bent, there's no problem. If you see a bend at the valley of the fins, that means your battery pack needs to be returned for service. So we've considered the working environment that the battery packs will be used in. One of the key things is we wanted a consistent rider experience. What that meant is that our battery systems needed to match our powertrain, and that needed to match the chassis and vehicles that we're building. For our first vehicle, the Graft EO12 motorcycle, we're at around 18 to 20 kilowatts of power. So that's about the same as a 300cc motocross bike. That's a very high level of power, particularly for our factory team edition, which weighs just 50 kg. What we were able to do is by designing the battery and all of the powertrain simultaneously and doing all of this work in-house, it means that we have a very consistent vehicle performance. We have this very high power output of 18 to 20 kilowatts at the beginning of the battery all the way to the end of the battery pack. Our bikes offer hill climbing capabilities up to 45 degrees. We have about over 400 Newton meters of torque available on the back wheel. Means in tricky off-road conditions, you have really strong torque for hill climbing or even sand dune riding or riding in the snow.